Happy holidays, guys, and welcome to another edition of Nursing in Flow. In today's episode, we'll be talking to my brother, who is a third-year medical student, and he'll be sharing his stories and his perspectives in medical school.
What's up?
Welcome to the episode. All right, so bro, tell me, man, why medical school and what is your inspiration?
So why medical school? Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. I feel like I chose medicine because I really want the autonomy of being able to prescribe medications. I really want to be able to help as many patients as I can and being able to become a doctor, either primary care or whatever specialty I choose. Medicine for me would give me the best or most options for me.
And so who would you say was your biggest inspiration? Was there anyone in particular in your life that kind of inspired you to become a doctor?
Honestly, I don't think there's one specific person. I think it's just a multitude of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I got mentors, I got my friends in undergrad, and even now who are doctors today. Even family as well. I know that some of my cousins and some of their cousins' parents, they're psychiatrists, they're other doctors, and I get to actually, kind of continue the tradition.
Awesome. So second question, Kevin. So kind of explain to the viewers what's a basic requirement for getting into medical school. And I guess the question that people always wonder is, do you have to be super smart and you have to be super rich to get into it?
Yeah, sure. So I guess with medical school, there is certain requirements you need to do. So there are requirements in you have to do a few semesters in science, you got to do a few semesters in certain subjects. So you got biology, chemistry, any of those basic sciences as well, and maybe some other requirements as well. I know some medical schools, they actually now do psychiatry and sociology as needed classes. And along with doing those classes, you also need to do the MCAT, which is this test you need to take, and people usually study for this when they're either their third or fourth year in college. And so depending on what MCAT score, it's really important to get a good MCAT score because this is the score that will help you get into medical school.
So what kind of score do you need to have? What's the minimum score that you need to get into med school?
There isn't actually there isn't a minimum. I feel like some medical schools do have minimums, but I feel like today in these days you should aim for at least maybe around a 509 to around that range, or 510 range is usually competitive enough to see oh yeah, maybe you'll get into medical school with this score.
And do you have to be super rich to get into med school? Because I know that med school is super expensive, as everyone knows, so is nursing school in general. So how are you able to afford and pay for it?
Oh, you don't have to be super rich. I mean, there is the FAFSA, and unfortunately for most medical students, they have to pull out loans. And honestly, I feel when I took out loans, I feel and for all medical or all pre-meds or all incoming medical students, I feel taking out this loan is especially good because you're making an investment on yourself. And I feel once you do become a physician, that income and whatever you make in the future, it will pay for that loan and for other future things you want to do in life.
Gotcha. So my brother, if you guys don't know, he majored in biology in school. And so this question I wanted to ask him next was, do you necessarily have to have a degree in science to go into med school, or it could be anything?
You can be, honestly, I feel these days, you can be anything. And I feel
right on.
These days, you don't have to have a major in some kind of science. I major in biology, but I know some of my good friends, they major in anthropology, sociology, and even English. And I feel these days, I feel medical schools are looking for that different student. So even having a major that's not a science would be looked oh wow, this is a very unique student, and actually may help benefit you when you're applying for medical school.
So you're saying I could be a history major and I could apply for medical school?
Of course, you can be a history major, you can be any major you want, as long as you fulfill your requirements for your basic sciences classes and whatever classes the medical school wants.
Okay, so I know that in a previous question you mentioned that usually people, they prepare to take their NCAT, maybe their third or fourth year of undergraduate degree. My question for you now is, would you advise applying straight into med school once you graduate with an undergraduate degree, or would you suggest doing something called a gap year, taking a year off or taking a break before, going into it?
honestly, like, it's your choice. I feel like I took a gap year because I just wanted like to have other experiences in life, and also like I kind of just want to like have like more of like see what experiences I can have before medical school starts. I know there are many people that like go straight into medical school, and that's completely fine, but like some people even use a gap year to actually improve in their application, maybe because they want to take the MCAT at a later time, maybe during the summer between their 3rd and 4th year, so they can actually study for the MCAT. There are multiple reasons why people take multiple years off, and honestly there's no shame in it, because I feel like these days medical schools or incoming medical students, they are actually starting medical school later and later. So I feel like a greater proportion of people are actually doing a gap year these days. And there is no like, medical schools will not look down at you for taking a gap year as long as that gap year is meaningful and there is a reason why you're taking it.
So like what my brother said, it's what you use of that gap year or that space. Like I myself, when I graduated nursing school, I didn't go straight into taking the NCLEX. I didn't go straight into applying for jobs. I ended up taking a whole month, going on vacation. I wanted to take some time for myself. And so like my brother said, take some time for yourself, you know, if you want to go that route. But if you certainly want to go straight into med school, you do have that option, like what my brother suggested. So something else, Kevin, I wanted to ask you, you know, as a med student, looking back, what was your first year like? And was it something that was, you know, hard to adjust to, would you say?
I mean, can I cuss on this show? Would you beat me out?
I guess so.
It sucked.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no, it's like, basically like that first year was extremely difficult because like, it's true when they say that like medical school feels like you're drinking water out of a fire hose. It's just a lot of information coming at you. You're not ready. You came from like, oh yeah, I got into medical school, you got your white coat on, and then boom, like straight at it. Like lectures every single day. You're studying a lot more than what you're used to. And like for me, that transition was extremely difficult. But honestly, I feel like these days, like if you got into medical school, then even though that like transition period is extremely difficult, there's a reason why you got into medical school. Anyone who's gone into medical school does have the capabilities to actually get through that transition, no matter how hard it is. And so like, if you're struggling your first year of medical school, that is actually normal. I would be surprised if you're like totally like flying through like the first year, because that first year sucked.
How about talk about like what are some resources or services that you could look into, you know, to get assistance with medical school? Are there like anyone that can kind of help you, tutor you, or you know, help you with your first year and get adjusted to it, the program?
Oh, these days like people are actually using a lot of outside resources. Personally, like you can actually look this up. I use Pathoma, I use Boards and Beyond, I use Sketchy. I use, what else do I use? Also, if you're studying for step 1, a lot of people use first aid. Basically that first aid is our Bible to us. So like, but yeah, there's a lot of outside resources. Even though a lot of classes, they can be either standardized MBA mini tests or like medical school created tests. But these outside resources, no matter what kind of test you have, like it really helps.
All right, so we'll include all the links to these sites that my brother suggested in my description box down below. So if you want to look into, you know, these different types of resources as a med student, definitely look into it, and it will greatly benefit you as you're progressing through medical school, right, Kev?
Yeah, we got it.
Perfect. So kind of walk us through, what does those 4 years of med school kind of look like? Kind of paint that picture for the viewers, you know, those that are interested in getting to med school or those who are just started it. So.
Sure. So like your first 2 years are going to be your preclinical years. These are going to be classes where the first semester you're probably going to be taking anatomy and biochemistry. You're then really taking like organ systems. So like your different classes can be like you're taking respiratory, you're taking cardiology, you're taking renal, you're taking like MSK or musculoskeletal system. And yeah, so those are the first 2 years. Within the last bit of the second year, you're going to be studying for step 1. And that step 1 test is like MCAT on steroids. I can talk more about this, but like I guess I don't want to scare you all, but like step 1 was a pretty hard exam, but you're going to be studying for step 1 during the very end of your second year. You're going to have a dedicated period. It's going to be a few weeks, usually around 6 to 8 weeks, and then you take step 1. And then during your third year, which I'm like right now, you're going to start doing rotations. So I've just finished OB-GYN, I finished family medicine, psychiatry, and neurology. Rotations is basically like shadowing plus. So you're shadowing the doctors, but you're also like taking histories for the patients. You're going to be helping you're going to try helping with managements and plans.
Cool.
Like you're going to suck, but honestly, like it's all a learning experience. And so that's going to be your third year. You're going to be different specialties. And in the fourth year, you're going to be doing a lot more electives. So like you're probably going to do emergency medicine. You're going to be anesthesiology. You can even do away rotation. So like you can do away so like I go to medical school in a Michigan school. But you can do away rotations in Las Vegas or whatever city you want to go to. They're kind of like auditions. So like you can do an away rotation to your top program, and that'll be your audition to see like if you're a good fit, and they can actually benefit you when you want to apply for that residency program. I totally forgot something. Between M3 year and M4 year, there's also the Step 2 exams. There's the Step 2 written and also Step 2 clinical skills, and that's another beast of its own. But like Step 1 is the more like difficult exam, or the exam that people really try to like do well, because Step 1, that's what residency programs look more as Step 1.
Awesome. So you know, you're into your third year of medical school.
Yeah.
You've done different rotations, multiple, like you suggested. Is there any particular specialty that you're interested in going into, or is it too soon to kind of tell?
To answer your question about the specialties, honestly, like I'm open to a lot of specialties. Like this is my rotation period, so like I'm really exploring the specialties I really want to go into. Cool. But I will say that when I went to medical school, I was really interested in family medicine. And so far, like since I finished my psychiatry rotation, so far I've been really liking psychiatry as well.
You have two different paths. You want to do either psychiatry or family medicine for now?
Well, not two paths. I'm more like my like paths are open. I have many doors open. So like maybe, who knows? Maybe I want to go to pediatrics. Maybe I want to go into surgery. Probably not surgery, but
yeah, that'd be pretty interesting stuff. So, as you know, I want to get into nurse practitioner school sometime next year. One of the interesting things that my brother and I are planning to get into was, you know, depending what specialty he gets into, we would be, you know, more than interested in possibly opening up a private practice one day in the future. Is that something you're looking into, Kevin?
Dude, that would be amazing. Like, that's actually one of my goals in life, is to actually open a clinic with my brother. It would be amazing to work with my brother. I see him as a mentor because of like all the things he's doing. And honestly, like this whole like YouTube channel, I hope you go big.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
So that's the dream, you know, like my brother and I, we get along so much, and we would love to work together in the future. You know, me getting my nurse practitioner degree, him becoming a doctor, you know, it's just two of the perfect worlds in one.
Yes, exactly.
And so be on the lookout for a future Cervantes Brothers clinic.
You might see a clinic coming up soon. It's gonna be great.
In your city.
In your city, let's go.
One day, let's go. So Kevin, let's get back into the questions now, okay? I wanted to ask you, you know, looking back, you've been in med school for about 3 years, okay? Do you regret your decision going into it?
No.
No, not at all?
No, I don't regret it at all.
Okay.
I mean, like, oh man, like I gotta admit, like you kind of lose out in your early 20s, you kind of miss out on a lot of things. But honestly, like in medical school, you actually do make time. And so like, I'm able to like keep up my hobbies. I'm able to like maintain the friendships that I have. And honestly, like, I mean, throughout the entire 3 years of medical school, I've really realized, okay, this is where I want to go. I love all my patients. I love making that management plan. I love doing histories and like before going to medical school, I was like, okay, I want to be a doctor. But now, as I'm doing medical school, like it pretty much confirmed, okay, this is the right field for me. I am doing the best thing I can do for my life.
Perfect. So, no regrets. And I think the biggest misconception that people have of med school, even nursing school in general, is that you're so busy into school that you don't have any time to make social life or do activities. But my brother, you know, he does make time for it, you know. What kind of activities do you like to do on a daily basis if you're not studying for nurse?
Oh, if we're not studying, like we just we go out to eat, we go out to the bars, we play board games. We do all the things that like other people do. Like a lot of people are afraid that like in medical school you'll be like a total hermit. You'll be in like at home all the time or even lecture hall. But like honestly, like you can make time. You'll find time. You'll find your studying method. You become more efficient, and then med school like just becomes like college, really.
Awesome.
Just
right
a
on.
little more.
All right, so I'm a nurse. My brother is a future doctor. I'm gonna ask him an interesting question. Now, Kevin, from a med student / doctor's perspective, what do you think about my profession, the nurses? And be honest.
Nurses? Oh my gosh, you're like the you're like the factory of like medicine. Like honestly, like nurses, they do a lot of the things. Like I gotta admit, like medicine, like doctors, they kind of make those managements and plans, but nurses are the people that actually like go ahead and do all those things. Like they make all those orders. You see the patients a lot more than we do, and so like I have a huge respect for nurses and for everything that they do. And just a little note for people who want to go into medical school or medical students now or even residents, be kind to your nurses. Because,
thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, be kind to your nurses. Like, because you should be kind, but also like, you'll regret it if you're not kind with your nurses. I heard many stories. I'm pretty sure the nurses can tell you many stories about people who are mean to them and how they got back to them.
So as my brother suggested, okay, whether you are a medical student, you're a nurse, you're a physical therapist, speech therapist, different professions in general, what my brother is trying to get at is you need to have a lot of communication and a lot of teamwork. There's a lot of teamwork that happens. So me and my brother himself, you know, we're brothers and all, but you know, in the future, when we do decide to open up this future clinic of ours, we will be working together. We'll be communicating with each other as you should be. And the relationship between a doctor and a nurse, especially, it needs to be rock solid, because as Kevin suggested, you know, the doctors are the ones that put in the orders. They kind of, you know, go through like the plans of care and all of that, but it's the nurses that also put those plans into action. We're the ones that carry out the orders, and at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that patient and whoever that we're taking care of, you know, has the best possible outcome at the end of the day, right, bro?
Me, yeah. Like people are gonna have a different opinion than me, but like what I think is that like doctors, nurses, physical therapists, any like all the professions of these, like for these patients, we're all equals. There is no hierarchy. And so like the reason why we're equals is because we're all helping the same patient, and it's crucial. The only way we can help these patients is by working together. Yeah,
working together.
Working together. Let's go.
Working together. Let's do it, bro.
Let's go.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in another episode of Nursing in Flow. For future content, you know, please like and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below on if you have any questions for my brother about, you know, what it's like in med school, or if you have any questions about nursing school. And I hope you look forward to future episode of Nursing in Flow. Take care, guys. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. Take care, guys.
Busting through the bears that try to contain me. Moving on up, making moves and money endlessly. How you think I got this name? C Money, it's my specialty.